Hey guys, welcome back to another video and welcome back to the Deadly Zone. Before we get into today's video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more. The links to the Facebook page, the Twitter, and the Instagram will be in the description below. And let's get into this video. Today's video is gonna be about the Russian sleep experiment. So, this is a creepypasta, obviously. And it goes something like this. So in the late 1940s, a group of Russian POWs were chosen for a test. 5 of them were chosen. And the test was to stay up for 30 days on a chemical that would be pumped into like a gas chamber of sorts. But the chamber was made for them to live in for 30 days. So that's what they did, and the survivors would be set free once the experiment was done. And yeah, so fun fact, the person who stayed up the longest in the world, who holds the world record, is Randy Gardner. He stayed up for 11 days and 25 minutes in December of 1963. So that actually happened, the Randy Gardner one. It's the world record for the longest time staying up. And just for reference, when you stay up for extended periods of time, around day 3 or 4 with little to no sleep, is when you start hallucinating and stuff. For the most part, but correct me if I'm wrong on that. But back to the story. The first 3 days went good. The day 4 it took a dark turn. They started talking about their wartime experiences. So all the stuff they went through in war, because they were POWs in World War II. On day 5, signs of psychosis started. They were talking to themselves and non-existent things, and that's basically what psychosis is. They hear, see, and feel things that aren't there, and they think of things that aren't real or whatever. Like, they think things are real that aren't real. That's what psychosis is, and psychosis isn't a disease. It is a symptom of a greater disease, if that makes sense. So, they also started to grow paranoid of each other, and they started whispering into the microphones about each other. So, yeah, there's that. On day 9, one subject started screaming and running around the room. He eventually tore his vocal cords, but he still tried to scream, so it was just a squeak, because when you tear your vocal cords, that's it. And then the room went quiet for a few days, and then they decided to go in and check the microphones. So they told them to lay on their stomachs. If they didn't comply, they'd be shot. If they complied, one of them would be immediately set free. And then one of the subjects said, "We no longer want to be free." So there, let that one marinate. So they shut the gas off. The subject started screaming for it to be turned back on, so they were begging for it. So they were going through withdrawals. They were dope sick. Honey, that's a good Match Out song, by the way. So they went in to the chamber on day 15. So they've been up for 15 days straight on the gas. So they saw one was dead, and then when they went in, one was dead, and then they saw the intestines of the other subjects were strewn across the room. The one dead dude was half eaten. The other dudes were severely injured. Their organs were laying around them in piles, and the skin from their chests were gone, probably eaten, so you could see their ribs and their lungs. And yep, so they all tried eating themselves. They ate the one dead dude, and they didn't touch the food since like day 3, allegedly. So yeah, they all did this to themselves, which is wild. So yeah. And they were presumably to eat the organs because they removed them and laid them down all nicely. The soldiers came in to take the subjects out of the chamber. One of the subjects ripped the throat out of one of the soldiers, and another soldier got his balls ripped off by another subject. 5 soldiers died in the struggle to get them out of the chamber, and then more soldiers ended up killing themselves after the fact. So I don't know if that plays in, if 2 only died. But yeah, so however that adds up, it didn't say. Yes, so they tried to inject them with morphine, but that didn't work. They ended up still fighting the soldiers and the doctors, breaking doctors' bones and stuff, and heavily resisting. And yeah, they injected them with enough morphine to sedate a big animal, so an inhuman amount of morphine. If you ever been on morphine, you know how that shit feels. I haven't been on it, but you know, that's gnarly. So one bled out and the heart stopped beating, but he continued to scream for the gas. The surgeons tried to put him back together, basically, but the subject almost broke through the leather straps of the hospital bed because he was strapped down because he was going crazy. They injected him with anesthetic, and immediately his heart stopped beating and he died. So they can't be anesthetized. I don't know if that's a word, but we're just gonna go with it. They did an autopsy on his body, and he had like 9 broken bones and torn muscles all over his body. So that, go figure. Like, if you tear a muscle, that's bad. Like, your arm, like the muscle you tear, that whole area of the body is pretty much like out of commission till it heals a bit. So, you know, putting up a fight and having to fight like that, that's whack. So let that marinate. The next subject didn't receive anesthetic so he wouldn't die, so they did surgery on him without anesthetic. They patched him up the best they could. He was still alive. The subject looked at the female nurse and smiled throughout his whole surgery. And, yeah. Another subject wanted them to keep cutting once they finished the surgery, and this was the one with the broken vocal cords because he couldn't talk, so he wrote it down. So they all wanted more gas. The KGB wanted to put them back in the gas chamber. One man died pretty much instantly when being put on the gas because they took him off and then put him back on, and then he died. One researcher shot the KGB commander and the subject, not killing the subject, because he didn't want to be trapped in the chamber with the subject, because that's what they're going to do, just put him in the chamber with the subject and turn the gas back on. So then, the researcher asked what the subject was, and the subject said, okay. So the subject said, "We are you, the madness that lurks within you all, begging to be free at every moment in your deepest animal mind. We are what you hide from in your beds every night. We are what you sedate into silence and paralysis when you go to the nocturnal haven where we cannot tread." And then the subject shot the researcher shot the subject in the head, and that's where it ends. But yeah, that's the Russian sleep experiment. I highly doubt it's real, but you know, World War II was a crazy ass time. The Nazis did all those crazy experiments. So, you know, the Russians weren't very ethical with their shit either in World War II. Stalin was pretty fucking crazy, but yeah. I'll let you figure out if it's real or not. We'll decide, not figure out. Let you guys decide. And yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments. You think it's real? But yeah, there's also a bunch of creepypastas written on it. Mr. Creepypasta did a video on it, so yeah, check that out. It's literally called Mr. Creepypasta, the Russian sleep experiment. That's all you gotta search up. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and share for more. Until next time in the Deadly Zone, stay deadly.